Good morning, Cancer, and welcome to your tarot diary for Rocktober 1st, 2024. Rocktober, the best tober. Happy Halloween early. Happy Tuesday. For those who are new, just tuning in, what I'm going to be doing is we're pulling a Celtic cross for you today. We're going to be going a little bit deeper than just love and career. Want to start a channel that could maybe just maybe tap into a little bit more than the external. Though we will discuss the day in, day out. As we all know, what is going on internally has a lot to do with what's going on externally. So what's coming up for Cancer today? Sometimes I honor reversals in the cards. Today I don't feel I'm going to. If you tune into what I had for you yesterday, what you're going to see is me reading about things going on internally. We had, I believe, death at the center with the Four of Pentacles, surrounded by a bunch of thought cards that were frankly kind of negative. So it read more like it was a day of maybe not going out as much, maybe, staying in, staying grounded, and letting things work themselves out, transmute their energy. And I think you did that, because what we get here then at the beginning of today, we get a Six of Cups. This is the Lord of Pleasure. So whatever it was that needed to be balanced out yesterday, clearly you've done it. And I think not only have you done it, but you have found pleasure in doing it. Like, it's quit being this, sometimes when we're trying to change our internal world, it looks like this huge mountain. And for a lot of the climb, it really is a huge mountain. It really is like, God, is this ever going to get over? However, I think you're more towards your peak of that mountain, and it's starting to become pleasurable. Like, you've kicked your shadow's ass, so to speak, and now you're like, yeah, that wasn't so hard. What else could I do? Whatever it is, you're succeeding. And I think you want to continue that work. Like, it never ends. Don't get it twisted. It's kind of like if you have a storage space that, you've just been throwing things in, and then one day it's like, look, you got to clean this out. Well, when you start, it's like, oh my God, look at that. That's overwhelming. But by the time you're done, it's like organized, clean as a whistle. And you're like, what else could I, like, you're ready to take on the world, and there's a new energy going on in there. So, again, with this Temperance, daughter of the reconcilers, okay, and then the Six of Cups, again, what we see are things being worked out seamlessly, effortlessly. Things are flowing for you, and it feels good. I think with that Six of Cups, nostalgia, you're getting a lot of joy and nostalgia in doing that kind of work. It's working for you, as it should, as water is your element. I mean, we think of the ocean and all the currents running through that. The ocean doesn't get divided amongst itself. It learns to work with it so that all life can flourish. Below you, what we have is the Nine of Pentacles. Again, strong, independent, Lord of material gain. I'm hearing, how can I take what I see underneath and move it forward to work it into your advantage in the physical plane? How could you make it into a career? How could you? It doesn't even have to, well, the traditional Nine of Pentacles, the woman is surrounded by the Nine Pentacles, but she has the bird, right? She knows that it's her soul that's going to be bringing in those pentacles. It's soul work that causes this physical action to move forward. What we have behind you is the Three of Cups, Lord of Abundance. So, Nine of Pentacles, Lord of Abundance. I think you've been feeling yourself, Cancer, as you have been working this out. You know, these are more like what's beneath you and what's behind you. You're starting to enjoy that process, or if it hasn't been enjoyable, you've hit a point where you now see the benefit of it. And yeah, I think you are kind of starting to enjoy it, because it's like, I feel for many years, you know, Cancer can kind of always get, I've talked to many Cancers who feel like they always get the short end of the stick. I've got a lot of Cancer placements, and so I'm not, so when I say that, I'm including myself, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. But there's a sense of like they always get the short end of the stick, they're always overlooked, nobody's really listening to them, you know, da-da-da-da. But, you know, in the Tao Te Ching, they talk about that which is soft will always overcome that which is hard. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like a soft, quiet power. And it's like, yes, I'm learning to work with that. And that actually, you know, all the noise going on around me cannot, you know, when the tide rises, the tide rises. There's no arguing with that. So you're learning to assert your power in a very peaceful, calm way, and you're learning your power, and you're learning to let it work for you. And I think, you know, for me and a lot of the other Cancers I knew in the past that would talk about, like, why is it always going like this? I don't think it is going like this anymore. I think that time in life, because if I was talking collectively about that, you know, that was a period of time, that was several years ago. So I think we've been slowly on this rise, and I can sense you kind of know that. And again, what we're getting to crown you is just smooth, day in, day out. This guy isn't a Knight of Swords. He's not a Knight of Wands. There's not a lot of drama. It's day in, day out. Again, tide rising. It's, you know, you ever been at the ocean when it comes in? It just keeps coming in. And it gets bigger and better and more grand as you do it. And the ocean doesn't rush. The ocean doesn't ask. The ocean doesn't say, oh, this is in my way, why is this stopping me? You know, it doesn't block my flow. I'll just overcome it. And I think you know that. It's a wonderful time of victory for Cancer is what I'm feeling here. What we have in front of you is the Three of Swords. So yeah, you know, the thing about it is this. You get a Samson, there's a Delilah. You get Jesus, you get Judas. You know what I'm saying? We can be as great as we possibly can. It doesn't mean there isn't going to be things that still show up. But there's two ways to do that. One is the way of saying, why does this always happen? And the other one is the way to say, okay, what is this showing about myself that I need to work on so that I can become even more than I already am? Because if we remember, Delilah cuts Samson's hair, but then he rises up and tears down the temple. Judas sells Jesus out for 3 cents, but then Jesus is immortalized. So, and these are just examples. Let's not, you know, don't get too heavy with that, but we all know those examples. They're in the collective conscious, so that's what I'm going to use. So if there is anything coming up past heartache or whatever, you're going to know how to go ahead and, like that tide just going over a rock. You know what I'm saying? The other thing could be, this could be a reconciliation piece coming in for you too. Something that has been troubling you is going to be reconciled by what I'm seeing with this energy. It's just going to wash over. Three of Swords, like I said, when you're done cleaning the storage space, it's like, well, what else could I do? You're ready to take on the world. That doesn't mean the world bends to your will. It means it presents challenges. But again, they're just not that difficult anymore. So whatever has been going wrong, whether it be internally in your mind, maybe you and somebody externally, I see that you feel very positive. And this Knight of Pentacles, he's always boring, but that's quiet confidence. That's not big, hurrah. You know, fire can get put out. Swords, they don't last. Flame, just throw some water on it. But this guy is earth. So that's quiet confidence. He's not boring. He's quietly confident. So whatever it does come up, I think you have the confidence that you can overcome that today. Your attitude is the Hierophant. As water, you have found a way to flow, like rivers into the ocean. You know, you need the banks of the shore to give it some direction to move. This is structure. So all of this that you have going on, you have below you earth energy, you have above you earth energy, and in the middle we have a lot of flow and maybe some rocks in the rapids that you're just going to flow over. So you found structure, you have structure, and you're ready to get things moving. Also, this is calling to your intuition. So internally, how are we looking as far as trusting intuition, going out on faith, taking those chances that maybe scare us, putting ourselves out there in ways that we haven't before, because intuitively, because this person, they're always like, oh, this is the religion card, this is the government card, this is the da-da-da-da. And it's like, sure, there's structure, but if you don't create an empty bank account, there's nowhere for that money to land. You need to create a space, the law of a vacuum, get rid of something you don't like so that something new and better can come in. So if you have that intuition, because the structure that is in this card exists only so that the intuition, like the banks of the river, can flow. So you've got these structures surrounding you. Now your attitude is to trust your intuition, trust yourself, and don't fear any blockages that may come up along the way, because you've overcome so much already, Cancer, that there's really not too much going to be put in your way going to stop you. But we get here then in your surroundings, and this woman has been showing up, has been showing up in the past week or two. So I'm sensing a sense of you wanting to go out, wanting to offer a pentacle, a sense of a ton of pentacles being around you, offering themselves to you, and not really knowing which one to pick. So again, you might be surrounded by a bunch of pentacles that you don't know which one to pick up. You may have a bunch of pentacles you want to offer, you don't know which one. But whatever you do, I want you to understand the law of reciprocity. What you give out, you give back. So you could give a pentacle to each one. Doesn't mean that pentacle directly will give back to you. The pentacle may come in from the back end in a way that's even more surprising and better. But whatever you get out, you are going to give back. So you can take your time and choose, well, what do I want to give? What do I want to receive? Sky's the limit, really. You're very, very open in that regard. It's just, I don't think you've taken action yet. And I don't know if there might be a blockage here in that Three of Swords, because this is what's before you. So let me ask you, what is stopping? Because this has been showing up for a while now. She keeps showing up. So what is blocking you from taking that step? What is blocking you? Perhaps that's that Three of Swords. It's like, look, you've handled the rest. Now what's stopping the action plan? What's messing up the flow? Because as soon as you do, what you get is hopes and fears. This is on a soul level, Tower. So, we've got a firm foundation. Leonard Cohen, there's a crack in everything. That's where the light comes in. So maybe, out of chaos comes order. So maybe now we're back into the order. So it's like, well, where can I spring a little chaos, so that you can move up again, because you've got some serious mastery going on over the past. You know what I'm saying? Hopes and fears. Tower, it's always scary. What's that line at the end of the third Matrix? He tells the Oracle, you're playing a dangerous game. And the Oracle says, change always is. Change always is. So there is no guarantee. But rather than, I think in the past when the storage space was full, it's like, oh, if things change, it's only going to get worse. Because like I said, collectively as Cancer, it's just sort of felt like things haven't been working for quite some time. But if things can go that bad, they can also go that great. It's just equilaterally. And I think what's shifting maybe in hopes and fears is, rather than counting on the bad, because for so long it's been like there's been so much of that, a mind shift has been taking place, and it's like, well, what positive can come out of it? What can grow? What could be good? What could turn out better than I could expect? But we get topping you here then, and the outcome is the Seven of Pentacles, Lord of Success Unfulfilled. You planted the seeds into a fertile soil, I think that's what the center cards here is. With the Seven of Pentacles, traditionally, the thing with that card is the guy planted the seeds and now he's waiting and he's looking like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And so what I'm taking this as is a cautionary tale. Go ahead, plant 7 more pentacles, but don't wait. Don't look and see. Law of reciprocity, like I said, sometimes what happens is people says, well, I give, and then it didn't come back. And it's like, did it not come back? Look around what all we have. And just because this person doesn't give back in particular, you'll get it on the back end from an unexpected source. So my thing here is just don't look back. Don't fall into that. And Lord of Success Unfulfilled, I disagree with that. A germination process takes a little bit of time to, spread out the effects. If you plant a seed, it has to germinate for a while before it can send out a shoot. And it's constantly sending out shoots. It's just that you might not see the flower bloom overnight. But this tower is saying, go on faith and keep planting seeds because it is going to bloom. But don't stop and look at what you planted. Just keep going. As far as this Page of Pentacles comes and the Seven of Pentacles, as well as, Temperance has been showing up a lot. So is Knight of Pentacles. As far as the Pentacles go, though, they're calling on some faith, to trust the process. With whatever you do, it will grow, it will bloom, that you're actually quite powerful, that the universe is in fact on your side. And what this tower is, maybe just trusting that. Tower doesn't have to be a big explosion. The tower could be like, sometimes the tower is, I thought things were a lot worse than they are. And then when everything settles, you're like, actually things weren't so bad. What was bad was living in that frame of mind of frantic thinking. The pentacle is very, very calm. Just go out into your garden and watch how things grow. It's very, very slow. And in fact, it happens when you're not looking, when you're busy doing other things. So the other thing with that Seven of Pentacles, there are 7 of them. So if you plant one seed, plant a bunch of them. Because like I said, you've got a bunch of them around you waiting for you to take action. So don't just focus on the one. Spread it out. Don't get single-minded. Create a circle of abundance going on around you. I mean, that is what this Temperance is. And that's what and have fun doing it. That's what that Six of Cups is. That is a invisible energy coming around you that's signaling to the universe, yes, yes, yes. And that's what you're doing. Career-wise, we've got the Empress. So, I mean, with all of this earth you got going on and all of this water seeping down into the earth, what we get is an Empress. It doesn't get much more earthy than this. So again, plant these pentacles. Start in on that, because this is what's coming. And it's going to blossom in a beautiful and abundant way. I mean, this is the goddess of the earth, right? So, and I think you're feeling that. I don't think you need me to tell you that. I think you just kind of know that's what's going on. For the longest time, I'm going to go back again. I don't want to stay on the negative, but for the longest time, I think the collective of Cancers, myself included, what we were doing was we were seeing these things externally. We're like, well, this would be nice, this would be nice. And we were living in a world that says, if you do this and this and this, then you get this outcome. So it's like, well, I'm going to try that. And then you do it, and it doesn't, either the thing winds up not being as advertised, or it just flat out doesn't work, or it leaves us in a sense of lack, or we get involved, we give our hearts, and then we're like, this isn't what I thought it was, or else we're just ignored completely. And it's like, God, why is everything against us? And I think that's what the collective of Cancers, a couple years ago, I think that's what we were all sort of feeling. But I think what it is what we realize is like, look, there's more than one way to do things. We have it all within us. There is nothing, and that was the lesson. Stop trying to seek it out here. They can't give you what you can give yourself. So I think Cancer is really growing into that understanding and stepping forward, hence that Tower. That's on a soul level, along with that Temperance. So that's your career. So where are you going to grow? Where are you going to flourish? What kind of work you want to be doing going to make Cancer shine? Where Cancer will also be acknowledged and be respected. Though Cancer doesn't need to be acknowledged and respected. However, environment is very important to the water signs. So, before just throwing your hat in the ring, take a look around. Is it good enough for you? Empress would say, well, is this good enough for me? Does that work for me? Am I going to flourish in this? So whatever you're thinking career-wise, where you flourish is what's going to happen. Princess of Cups is what we see in the relationship sector. I think your cup is out, but I don't think you're anxious about it. If it is, you might be looking at a Taurus, or earth signs are coming up pretty prominently. But again, I don't see you really, I think what you would want if you're in a relationship that's having trouble, perhaps some things need to work themselves out. You need to reconcile, you need to find balance. But I don't see you struggling to do that. Could be another water sign too. If you're looking for love, I think you just want something fun, something that's going to match your current energy. This tower could indicate that perhaps if there is an earth sign, if there is another water sign, perhaps something in it needs to kind of shift. But again, this isn't a forceful card whatsoever. This is a quiet, intuitive card. Sometimes the best thing to do about problems is to do nothing and just go in and kind of let it work itself out. Point being, I've had times in my life, I'll give you an example, where I wanted to snap, where I wanted to just be like, hey, that's wrong, you can't be da-da-da-da-da-da, because it was clearly whatever the other person was doing was like, no. But something in me said, don't, take 2 steps back. In the Tao Te Ching, it always talks about taking 2 steps back. This doesn't mean you don't do anything. It means you take 2 steps back, and a lot of the times what would happen is the knot that I saw in front of me would kind of even itself out without me needing to interject myself onto it. Why do I want to grab onto a problem that's not even inherently mine? The other thing about this Princess of Cups is much like the Empress, she knows what she has to offer. The Knight of Cups is too busy in action and, wants us to go, so we're moving forward. This one's like, I've got this cup, but before I get on that horse, do I need to get on that horse? You see what I'm saying? By the way, the Empress attracts things. So that's again why I'm saying, if conversations need to be had, if you need to do something, I'm not saying don't take any action. But what I am saying, think about it before you do. Because again, a lot of the times, things just have a way of resolving themselves without having to get in the mix. As far as your overall, this is an Ace of Pentacles. It's the 1st of Rocktober. So I see you being planted and being very, very grounded. And again, this is the beginning. So the 7 of Pentacles, again, if you've got seeds to plant, plant them. But do not turn around tomorrow and say, where is it? And there's 7 of them, not just 1. So you know what you got, you know what you can do. You know what you got, you know what you can do. What option looks good? And perhaps what this tower is you starting to move forward on those sorts of things. Ace of Pentacles is a good, solid card. And what I'm hearing intuitively is just trust the universe. Just keep working your magic, Cancer. Keep working with the energy of flow, of water. Water evaporates into air. Air, we're in constant. And you've got these solid pentacle cards here. So that the energy going on around you, the emotion, the intellect, the love, it's not going to knock you off center. I don't see that happening. One more for that tower. 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands can talk about strife, struggling, right? What I'm hearing is do not struggle to achieve whatever aim you have set for yourself right now. Now is not a time for struggle for Cancer. That Knight of Pentacles, that 3 of Cups, that 6 of Cups, that temperance, that balance, it will overcome any 3 of Swords that come up. It will overcome any tower. The tower might be that you are no longer struggling, because things have been a struggle. And, we think the tower is like, oh my God, everything's going to fall apart. It's like, well, maybe things need to, that's why the tower falls apart, because what we're doing isn't working. So what I'm sensing is do not struggle. The other thing with that Lord of Strife, 5 of Wands, It can be talking about a lack of leadership. It can just be talk about too many cooks in the kitchen, too many passions moving in one direction. But it's not a 5 of Swords. Like, it evens itself out. Because then in the next card you get the 6 of Wands. Whereas in Swords, it's like 6 of Swords, you're moving on and it's over. You've learned the lesson and it's over. But 5 of Wands is like, okay, a lot of passion, a lot of fire, a lot of but it evens itself out. It's like an office where everyone feels like, we need to do it my way, no my way, no my way. And then we hold a meeting or we have a sit down and we just figure it out without any drama. So you're solid. And whatever this Tower is, I just see it as conflict. Perhaps it has to do with this 3 of Swords getting smoothed out, getting evened out. And you've done enough work in the past that I know, and you know, for your higher good, to look at the big picture and that you can handle everything confidently. A seed planted is a confident seed. That is what I have for you today, Cancer. Thank you for joining me. If you like this reading, like, click, and subscribe. I hope to help in some kind of way. I'm wishing you a happy, joyous, prosperous Rocktober 1st. I will see you later. Take care, stay healthy, and be well.